Today's video is sponsored by Nerdarchy's Out-of-the-Box Encounters. Creating fun and engaging encounters is a challenge that every Dungeon Master faces, but now you can crack open out-of-the-box encounters. Save yourself some prep time and blow your players' minds with over 55 unique encounters. New monsters, including new legendary creatures, lairs, and regional effects. New magic items adventurers will really have to earn. Map packs for every encounter to put down on your table, and flat plastic miniatures for each encounter. Check out their Kickstarter, which has smashed every stretch goal so far. Get in on exclusive pricing and rewards and download your free encounter now. Click the link in the description below. And now what you're here for. How the Bard discovered the true cost of being immortalized in song. This is a post to share and celebrate a fallen PC who suffered the worst of fates and was an absolute beacon of courage. We lost her in our last session yesterday, and it was so brutally sad that one player left the table crying. I had to force myself not to do so, and the rest were shocked beyond words at the end of the session. We are playing Curse of Strahd with a party of 7. We've been playing every 2 weeks at home since February, with my family and a bunch of family friends. It is a fun, relaxed game, because most of the group is new to D&D. Our sessions last the whole Sunday, and yesterday we went on until almost midnight because of the events being comprehensively narrated. The party is well advanced into the campaign and comprises of Yerbal, CN Tiefling Bard, Pakaron, me, LG Druid/Cleric of Ilmater Dragonborn, Thoradin, LE Oathbreaker Dwarf, former Devotion Oath Paladin, became corrupted by accepting gifts from evil gods in the Amber Temple, Yug, CN Stone Sorcerer Tiefling, Elisa Veda, in Gloomstalker Wereraven, Rowena, CN Warlock Half-Elf Ghost, Drusilla, CG Sorcerer Elf. Yerbal was not your stereotypical horny bard. Apart from her amoral self and a passion for wine, she was kept in a cage as a guinea pig by cultists her whole childhood. She was addressed only in whispers, with an imaginary friend, who taught her songs of bloodlust and courage. This imaginary friend was an Erini, who filled Yerbal with a passion for battle and acts of fury and bravery. She eventually killed the cultists and became a bard, with a penchant for instilling courage in others and taking pleasure in the violence that followed. Think of a Klingon lore singer for an analogy. You get her personality. The last few sessions saw us stuck in the Amber Temple. It is a place full of dark knowledge and tombs of old evil gods who offered gifts for a price. Thoradin and Yug took a bunch of gifts, the first becoming evil and changing to an Oathbreaker Paladin. We were invited by the Lich presiding over the temple to take a look into the library, which we accepted, hoping for some secret arcane knowledge to defeat Strahd. Inside the library, someone read a book out loud, and a horde of vampire spawn came, attracted by the noise. Now those are nasty things whose attack reduced our total HP each time they hit. We spent a lot of resources and won the battle, with really low total HP and no spell slots remaining. We left the library, and Thoradin forgot he put a book in his bag at the beginning of the battle against the spawns. The book became ashes as soon as he stepped out of the room. Some alarm triggered, we all panicked. We had almost reached the exit when the Arcanoloth who was overseeing the temple stopped us. He brought 3 flaming skulls and we were no match for all of them. The possibility of total party kill was high, with 3 fireballs at our faces, at the same time if the flaming skulls attacked. Already half the party were below 20 total HP because of the spawns. We were screwed and could not run. The druid told him the truth. We were unfairly attacked, and a book got damaged in the process. How could you invite us and have us attacked for accepting the invitation? We just wanted to leave this forsaken place and be gone. But obviously this was a rare book, signed by Mordenkainen and all, and we would have to pay a price. The price was one of us. The Arcanoloth was very specific that he wanted the bard. If we didn't want to die, she would have to stay at the temple. A long, bitter discussion ensued, and the players spent some hours debating this. Yerbal volunteered to stay, but we would not accept it. Still, we were too overpowered to react or even run. She then made a speech about our duty to keep on fighting, that defeating Strahd was above ourselves, and that this sacrifice was her chance to finally be heroic. She could not live with herself if she acted cowardly to save her own hide. We were all appalled, but nothing could be done. Yerbal disappeared in a flash of light, and we exited the temple. Defeated, grieving, we set up camp nearby. At some point, we drifted off to sleep, when we suddenly awoke in a different place. It was a seemingly infinite sea of dunes made of ash, with cubic planets above us in the sky. The druid recognized this place as Acheron, an outer plane of infinite battle and strife. but the place was empty and ashen, except for Yerbal, who appeared next to us. She was almost translucent, just like Rowena, who is already a ghost. Her player made a ghost so she can appear and disappear because she cannot come to all sessions. Yerbal told us that she walked this dune ceaselessly for what seemed to be a whole year, blind and covered in ashes. She just knew her true self was suffering pain somewhere else, yet she felt nothing. We immediately stood up to help our friend, and Drusilla and Yug had the brilliant idea of following her silver cord to her true self, in order to set her free. We followed the silver cord across Acheron, and eventually fought our way through an iron tower guided by Drakeloths and other bizarre Yugoloths, until we finally found the bard's true body. The scene was, in Shakespeare's words, unfit to any place but hell. It was shocking. Yerbal hung stretched in the ceiling, semi-unconscious, held by a whole lot of hooks that ripped through flesh and bone. She had her whole body full of open wounds and an iron forceps keeping her abdomen open. She had been like that for a year in local time, some 3 hours in Barovia time. Alas, her consciousness went adrift because of the pain, and that was how our ashen ghost found us. We were enraged. More than that, choleric. The lab/torture chamber was run by a Yagnoloth who attacked us on sight, along with his pet Canoloth. It was a long, hard battle. The tower had already drained us of our resources, but our rage and the will to save our friend was stronger, and we were about to finish off the Yagnoloth when he offered a deal to save his own skin. Okay, sure pal, we get our friend, you keep on living, and we are all good. Yay! Victory! Thoradin went forward and pulled out one of the hooks keeping Yerbal stretched and hanging. Immediately, a symphony of wails and screams echoed through her opened abdomen. He took out a second hook to the same effect. Pakaron recognized these laments as being souls crushed into oblivion and demanded an explanation from the Yagnoloth. He then went to explain the situation and the options we had in front of us. When Yerbal accepted to stay in the Amber Temple, the Arcanoloth used the words, "She will work inside the temple." So we all assumed some kind of serfdom, Yerbal included, but the reality was far, far worse. He used the bard's body, through these horrible procedures, to be a receptacle of captured souls. The fiends were capturing innocent souls who were going to the upper planes, en route to their respective paradises, and trapping them into these pain-driven, mindless receptacles, all in order to fuel magic artifacts. We doubled our intimidation and demanded her to be set free. The fiend kept on explaining that he could free Yerbal, but all the 1,000 souls inside her would cease to exist. Each hook we took from her destroyed 100 of those innocent souls, so Thoradin already destroyed 200. The other alternative was to free the souls to their original destinations, but this would consume Yerbal's soul, and she would cease to exist. The table was dead silent for minutes. The paladin was having none of it, and took out 2 more hooks. Horrible sounds of souls getting crushed ensued. Yug held his hand, and the two almost started a PvP. The tension, the exhaustion, and the sheer horror of the situation was too much. We were all discussing wildly at the table, when Yerbal's player punched the table. "Everyone stop!" she said in character. She wanted to be sacrificed, partly because of the 600 remaining innocents, but more than that, because she would live in eternal disgust with herself if she acted like a coward just to survive. After all, she knew since childhood what it was like to be a guinea pig in a lab, what torture was like, how imprisonment felt. She would not let that happen to innocent people just to save herself. The Irene who taught her bravery and glory was her role model, and if she succumbed to cowardice, well, better not to have lived at all than becoming a disappointment to her idol and to herself. More cold, dead silence at our table. More discussion then, as we could not accept this outcome. To hell with these souls, it is our friend there, facing not only death but the end of her existence. Then the druid understood. This was her shot at glory and honor, to be in a bard's song as a hero instead of herself singing about others' feats. She would not have it any other way, and if we saved her because of our attachment, our love to her, then her life, her principles would be ruined. I soberly explained this to the group. We would respect her wish. One of the players started to cry when Thoradin and Yug proposed a last cup of wine with our friend, which was one of her greatest passions. We all drank and said our goodbyes. She demanded us to be fierce and never give in to fear. The Yagnoloth started the proceedings, which would free the captive souls and consume Yerbal's in the process. He explained that she would not feel pain, and in fact, it would soon be as if she never existed at all. Our memories of her would fade in about a year. Pakaron promised that he would write about her sacrifice, that she would be remembered and honored in song. Her ghost disappeared, and her soul went into a small pearl. Yug took it and knew the pearl had to be crushed, so that the deed would be done, and the innocent souls free. We all joined our hands, and with a painful goodbye in our throats, crushed the pearl, which vanished in fine dust. The souls went into an orb, which we still have to break in a place of great elemental energy to set them free. As the fine dust vanished into the air, we heard her voice for a last time. Thank you. We lost a friend, a character, to the worst of fates, which is non-existence. One player cried. I forced myself not to shed tears, but most of us are in grief still. Yerbal was silent, never roleplayed much, but when she decided to go, we all realized how much we would miss this friend we had, and this feeling of grief was to last for this whole year. It hurt a lot, in and out of character. This is something you would never assume you could feel until the moment it happened. In character, I vow to keep the promise and wrote her ballad. We will honor her memory, and to keep ourselves from forgetting Yerbal, I will carve a medallion to each member of the party, with the drum she played and her name. On the backside, just the words. There are sacrifices deeper than death. Persevere in courage, ye who must embody hope. Thank you for watching. Before we discuss the video, one more quick word about our sponsor. Nerdarchy have been a bastion of creativity and encouragement for DMs of all ages and experience levels. Those aren't my words, that's from the legend himself, Matt Mercer of Critical Role. Out-of-the-box Encounters was designed with that philosophy and is a must-have for veteran dungeon masters or someone ready to take the leap and run their first game. If you're like me and can't paint miniatures, I recommend getting the Arknight pack, which is a steal. You'll be using these minis for years, and I can't wait until I get my hands on mine. Become a part of history by attending the inaugural Nerdarchy Convention, Halloween Weekend 2020 in the Philadelphia area. There will be workshops, panels, charity games, and the biggest RPG and D&D YouTubers. Make sure you don't miss out on pre-sale badge pricing. Click the link in the description below. Apotheosis, the transcendence of a mortal soul to the realm of the gods, to the realm of divinity. Would you have sacrificed yourself to save the remaining 600 innocent souls? Either way, that was some incredible role-playing and commitment. Comment your reactions and suggestions in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel All Things D&D. Our next video will be posted in 3 days, so stay tuned for more amazing Dungeons & Dragons content.